Alright, so my Papa Zang running Staraptor. I saw Magneton, Poly, Crest, what was that? Dragonite?
Yes.
And something else. I missed that.
It's a Staraptor, Magneton, Palitoad, Scizor, Cresselia, Dragonite.
Scissor, strong choice.
Caesar. Hopefully it's not shiny.
I'm gonna change that.
And it looks like, I'm trying to see off in the distance to where this team preview is, but I think it looks like the outline of a Scizor, Breloom, Palitoad, Kingdra, Thundurus T, and I think that it's actually Latias.
Hey, that looks familiar. Very
It
familiar.
looks redder than it is blue, maybe?
Well, you can
it's
see
got
the
the
pink
female
gender.
sign. Yeah, so it's a
I don't
lot
believe in gender, so I don't...
We need more general neutrality.
I don't judge.
You know,
Pokemon.
I feel like even though that team looks a lot really similar to my team, I feel like the way it'll operate is going to be different than how I play my team, but...
Well, I'm just by virtue of having Breloom there. I mean, the Spore is a different kind of threat. Although it's another way to create free turns to set up.
Yep. But, interesting, both teams running that Politoed. I don't think either players will actually want to bring Politoed. And that's the fun thing. When both teams have Politoed, no one wants to bring it because it just becomes dead weight most of the time.
You're going to see some mind games here.
So there's kind of a lot of Pokemon on both teams here who are in danger of becoming dead weight.
Yep.
I also enjoy the comedic value of having a Magneton here. I hope it captures Scizor and its
oh my gosh,
magnety
right?
hands.
Yeah, I feel
think
like Magneton might actually be able to do work here.
Magneton, I
Thundurus
believe
T
in
can't
you.
do anything to Magneton. Latias can't really do anything to it.
Oh, that was Simon. Is that Simon's?
Mute yourself, Rushan.
It definitely says Russian in my text-to-speech.
What was that?
Stop getting distracted by stuff. Anyway, looks like Simon's
Yes,
zooming
let's talk
in.
about some Pokemon.
He's zooming it in for us a little bit, so kind of better. I mean, it's still blurry, but now it's close and blurry, so like, I kind of feel like how I feel when I don't have my glasses on and I'm trying to read a book now.
Let's talk about this matchup for a second. Like, considering what we saw from Simon. Once again, he had what? Magneton, Crest, Poly, Dragonite, Scizor. Was it Scizor?
Scizor, yeah, and
Yeah. What was the
I forget what you didn't mention.
Staraptor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of interested in seeing what that Politoad's there for. Oh, don't turn on the flash.
Just to make it rain.
Simon, turn that
Oh,
off.
hey, at least it focused. But it
now
looks
it's
awful, right?
focused, but it's dark.
Okay, now it's
Oh,
off
God.
air.
And now
Oh,
it's just
God.
not here.
Go Simon.
Come back, stream.
I think it's back.
Okay.
Okay, but that flash is just gonna be... Oh, God. Get rid of that, please. Okay. Oh, now I have an ad. That's awesome. Ad block.
Okay, well,
It
oh
looks
my God,
better now.
I can see it now. Simon, you did it.
Good work.
Okay, so anyway, we apologize for the technical difficulties here, but Simon has decided to be an hero, and now it works.
Yeah, I mean, technical
that's way
difficulties are the
better.
worst thing about these friendlies.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
we apologize for them, but I mean, you guys understand the situation, right? You know, it's like we don't have any real technology here. It's just a bunch of people trying to bring you Pokemon by streaming their phones, so
Yep.
doing our best. I'm sorry
But,
that
hey,
Nintendo didn't give us a spectator mode, because
Okay, Simon, what did you just do? Why is the screen dark? Well, I hope that means the battle's starting.
Because it was transitioning,
Because
geez.
the game is starting.
Okay, you know, I thought maybe he turned it off or something. He picked it up and it went dark and I got scared.
So, Aaron, I'm going to walk you through how this goes. At first, you do team select, then the screen turns black, then the screen turns white,
Oh, I've
Then
been doing
the
it wrong
battle
the
comes.
entire time.
and here's the battle. Now the Pokemon will fight each other.
Sweet.
Joni loves
Oh my
Chachi.
God, it's even worse than Shiny Sizzler. Whoever said that in chat before was right.
Ah, Dragonite. Ooh, man.
Oh, you opted for the Politoad.
Yeah,
Shiny
so
Dragonite
I,
just looks
I
sick.
actually don't... I like how, you know, because he's not facing a Mirror Rain matchup, I think Politoed will actually help him a decent amount here to get that Rain up for Kingdra. If you're facing a, like, you know, two dedicated Rain teams with Poly and Kingdra, then, you know, if you bring Poly, just becomes a dead weight. But I think Poly will actually help him a decent amount in this matchup, so it's something you actually want to bring.
I really hope there's Icy Wind somewhere.
Yeah, I love Icy Wind Politoed.
That was one of the few things I was ready for with the tutors, was having Icy Wind and Drizzle.
I'm a little eager to see what Dragonite's going to do here. Obviously, not a Pokemon we see a whole lot of, and while we were a little more distracted by the bizarreness of Magneton during preview, I don't know. I've seen some Rain teams use Special Dragonite before, so I don't know if it'll be like Special Multi-Scale BS or
It has
what.
to have Hurricane if he's got a Dragonite and a Politoed.
Yep. Ooh, Protect from the Kingdra.
What
Can
a
we see
scaredy cat.
Icy Wind. Dragon Claw. Yep, into that Kingdra. Ooh, Ice Beam. Bit more offensive. Does a
Cresselia
decent
moving
amount.
last year? Trick Room, that would explain it.
Yes.
That's a good turn for Simon right there.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that Protect, but I mean, I would have liked to see something like a double target on that Immense, but at the same time, oh wow, Cresselia
Man.
getting burned.
Psycho Shift it.
So, one thing we should point out there, had it double targeted, assuming Dragonite's between the two of them in speed, which it probably is, it would have survived because of multi-scale and then killed Kingdra. So I don't think it's that bad of a move. And now it's in Ice Beam kill range because multi-scale isn't active.
Yeah, and Trick Room actually helps Che out because that Politoed's slower than that Dragonite.
It helps both sides.
Yeah.
I would have done the same thing Simon did. Actually, I think both players
Okay.
played the previous term correctly.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who are we?
Shut up, E.
Oh, Yubin Park. Hey, I know Yubin Park.
Psycho Shift. Psycho Shift, I think, would be a lot more popular if it couldn't miss.
Yeah, although he gets it off for the substitute here, so pretty ideal.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah, that's funny. I don't understand why you would substitute in Trick Room, though, because then you're...
because
I mean-
he Ice Beamed that Dragonite knowing
Well,
what...
yeah, that's true. Cresselia wasn't going to threaten it.
And now what, actually, it depends on what, if Cresselia is slower, then he can just double target with the Ice Beam and Bug Bite, but if it's the other way, I don't even know if Bug Bite can KO that Kingdra at this range. My bet is no.
Maybe
But-
it has a Bug Gem.
Yeah, it's still not looking that great for Simon, especially if that Politoed carries a Hydro Pump, because that Hydro Pump can just take care of Scizor quickly.
Yeah, I'm not sure what, greater deed having Psycho Shift and Flame Orb is trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
In general.
It can work, but I think there are a lot of better items on Cresselia.
Yeah, I think that's always one of the things where it's a cool gimmick, but it's always been a little too gimmicky to use in a serious event. But
Yeah, and that that's why setting up Trick Room I'm not a huge fan of, because that Politoed's slower than everything on the field, and ouch. Doesn't carry Hydro, but Surf burning that Scizor gonna negate the damage done by Bug Bite, though it would have broken Sub regardless. But, and a critical hit to add to that.
it super broke that sub.
Yeah,
Sub
see,
is shattered.
I don't like, because the fact, yeah, I mean, if Cresselia were slower and that Scizor didn't get burned from that Skull, Kingdra might have gone down, but once again, his opponent just having the advantage with the current field setup.
I guess what? At the bright side there, at least the burn didn't end up mattering at all.
Yep. But we do see that the Politoed is slower than both that the Dragonite let's swapped up before and Cresselia, so it's going to be annoying to take care of that, especially because he has nothing to hit it for hard damage as of right now. And
Are most Politoads absolute min speed anyway, just to assure the weather?
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't run min speed Politoed, because I don't like leading Poly Kingdra if there's a Tyranitar. Even if I do get my rain up, I'd rather play it safer and kind of get rid of that threat. But I think min speed Poly is more common than non min speed.
Yeah, so that's always kind of risky if you're going to Trick Room in front of a Politoed, because it can get decently slow to be a threat.
Yep.
I always at least assume it's slow, and since we're in a game one here, I don't know. But still, he didn't have an awesome way of dealing with Kingdra, so he's pretty much got it out of the game now. So not the worst thing he could have done.
Yeah, but that Poly's going to be a pain in the butt to take care of. Unless Simon does run something like HP Grass, but at the same time,
I think it's more likely with Psycho Shift, but I wouldn't be surprised if he had a Sleep Talk set there.
Yeah, that's something Wolfie was running on a Togekiss before Nationals, actually. He pulled it off once. It was a fun gimmick, but I wouldn't bring that to Nationals, and he ended up not Oh wow, Encore, nice.
I love Encore.
And yeah, that Polito does show Hidden Power Grass. Onto, yep, Kingdra taking care of that. Nice play there, but the Encore, wow.
Yeah, it really disrupts the gimmickry here.
Yeah,
and Encore is one of those moves that just like really shuts down the cute stuff.
Yep, something Politoads have not really used just because there are a lot of other moves you'd rather have on Politoed. You know, there's so many things that Politoed can use now. Scald, Hydro Pump, Hidden Power, Ice Beam, Icy Wind, Protect, Helping Hand, and, you know, Encore. But out of all those, Encore is the least common, I'd say.
I think Hypnosis is even more
Oh,
common than
Hypnosis.
Encore.
I totally forgot it even got that, yeah. But, it's rough for Simon right now, to say the least. But at least he is Encored onto Ice Beam, which can hit that Breloom. But I'd imagine Breloom's going to protect this turn.
Yeah, I was not surprised to see Cresselia get out there for now. Assuming it is the sort of set we're expecting, it'll still be decently effective if he can get that rest off. We do see the protect here, so right move by Simon to get out there.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, that Breloom, I would be so surprised if it did anything but protect, and Politoed going for an obvious Scald there. Ice Beam Predict would have been cool, but Scald for the safe play. No burn there, and Simon just going for a safe play. Both players opting for no predictions. They just going for, okay, you know, if you don't protect, then I'll get a lot of damage off, but if you do, then I'll get a free switch in. So don't disagree with those. And that Trick Room is now over, so good news for Simon, actually.
Yeah, kind of funny. It is stalled his own Trick Room there, but when he got rid of Kingdra during the Trick Room, and he's got Dragonite out here against Breloom, although I'm sure our enemy Politoed is just as excited to see Dragonite, but not a bad situation.
Yeah, but it's going to be a pain to deal with that Politoed, right? I mean, the Breloom, because I'd imagine now his opponent's just going to spore Simon's Politoed before it can do anything, and Ice Beam's just going to take care of that Dragonite.
Yeah.
I mean, rough position for Simon right now.
Well, he does have the option of bringing Cress in, obviously, with the burn. At least it's immune to Spore, but...
Yeah. I hope it has rest. Rest would be good to see, and I'd expect that, actually, given his set.
Yeah, I would too, like I mentioned before.
Yeah.
If he does have that, I mean, he could beat all the Pokemon in the field pretty cleanly.
Yeah, but otherwise he has no way to heal, and that's concerning. But I'm sure he does, but the thing is he has to get it. He has to be able to use it at the right time, otherwise he'll just faint, because he's at... A Scald might actually be able to even take care of it at this point. And yet...
The thing is, even with the switch in, he's going to take burn damage first.
Yeah.
But I think he'll be faster than the Politoed, as long as it didn't target it.
Oh, he's just going for the extreme speed, so... Yeah.
And Spore fails.
Okay, so I guess we do learn that nothing else. It's probably a physical Dragonite here, unless it's just randomly carrying extreme speed.
Yeah.
No Hurricane for us.
Kind of
I
going
guess
for
we
this...
saw Dragon Claw before, so that's not really new information. But...
Yeah. I mean, once again, we're not really seeing many predictions here, but that's because there's no need to. You know, his opponent's at the point where he has such a... It's what we saw against the Hui game in Game 2, too, where you don't need predictions if the field matchup just favors towards you that much. And Simon is just... You know, something has to be said when you're swapping around Pokemon and you're not doing damage the entire time and Pokemon are just getting knocked out. And, I mean, if Cresselia does have rest, this is the turn to use it.
Doesn't look like we're going to get I guess... Yeah, we won't get the chance here unless it's a 2.
Bullet
and
Seed.
It is not.
Yeah.
Bullet Seed. Yeah, I don't know why Simon would protect with Politoed when it's obvious that Cresselia is the bigger threat, since Politoed doesn't really threaten Breloom before Breloom can threaten Politoed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much you can really do at this point. I think the game's pretty much... I guess the only way he could have... I can't even think of a way he could have pulled through that.
I mean, he probably could have killed Breloom with the Ice Beam, but then what?
Yeah. Yeah,
Toxic.
I mean... And looks like game 1's gonna go to Yubin.
A tough run here. I don't know. I feel like watching a lot of games here where a lot of like weird gimmicky stuff from our side, and it's not working
Really
too well.
paying off, yeah. I mean, that's the thing with gimmicks. If you can use them, then sure, why not? But if you can't, then it just kind of ends in failure. And once again, Magneton, not really, we haven't seen yet. And the rest of what Simon brought so far, most of it is somewhat standard, other than that Cresselia, which is just super strange, I guess. But otherwise, he didn't even get many attacks off, and that's kind of concerning. And he loses game one pretty convincingly.
Yeah, the third game in a row.
That he lost.
Yeah.
I don't need further evidence.
Yes, we'll see what Simon can do to switch things up before the next game here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about it now, and if you're Simon and you want to transition to game two, it's tough because that Politoed, you can set up Trick Room, sure, but at the same time, that Politoed's going to be able to outslow you, and that makes it harder. So I like that when you have one really Pokemon that outspeeds everything and one Pokemon that outslows everything. So you always get the first attack off and you always get the last attack off too. Regardless of whether Trick Room is up or not. And I like Euban's team. I mean, I've used something similar to it. His is obviously plays differently with the Breloom, but it's nice. And that first game we saw, no need for predictions. Just have the better team advantage, play smarter, and you'll end up in the win.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a theme of the last few games that the U.S. has lost here, where the Korean players have just used like strong, effective teams and played it aggressively, and the quirky stuff on the America side just hasn't had a chance to work. I mean, it's kind of the problem with using stuff that's a little too cute, is that you just don't have the power to compete if you get stuck in a slugging match.
Yeah, and I'm interested in seeing what Simon has to bring this time. That Magneton I want to see, but I don't think he can take too many strong hits like Muddy Waters or even Skulls if that Politoed does carry something like a Lackenberry. And that Breloom just going to be able to do work. Simon's in a tough position just from team matchup right away, and game one, he wasn't able to find a solution to that team matchup. And Kingdra, it's one of those leads where if you don't have a counter for it, it just kind of blows through teams, and it's tough for Simon. He doesn't have anything that just directly counters it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what I would do on his side here either. I mean, he's got some unconventional stuff, and I don't know how it works in this matchup, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really sure like what Psycho Shift with Flame Orb is specifically for.
Yeah, I can't imagine either. I mean, I think there are better ways to take care of physical attackers that might be giving you trouble. I mean, it's fun to see, but I can't really imagine a purpose. But we'll see, and maybe he'll be able to utilize it a bit better in the second game as we get started.
Don't worry, the battle's still gonna start. The screen's just white for a second.
Speaking of which, not to blow it or anything, but this is 5 games in a row since the last DC.
Yep. But you definitely just jinxed it, dude.
Well, I want to see if I can make it work. I know last time I got it to bug out immediately, so I'll see if I can go 2 for 2.
Staraptor coming out now.
I guess when game 1 goes like that, why not,
And yeah, no surprise, you've been bringing Poly and Kingdra again. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. There's nothing that kind of I mean, once that rain sets up, that rain's up, and that Kingdra is just gonna get the speed advantage the entire time. And so when your opponent doesn't have anything like in reset weather or anything like in speed control, mainly Thunderous, you can just go safely with that and take the advantage the entire time. And he has a good advantage too right now. I mean, I'm curious as to whether that the Staraptor is scarfed or not. I'd imagine it is though.
I mean,
well, it's max HP, so I imagine it. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are a bunch of things you can do here, and oh, okay. So just going for a Muddy Water. All in.
Not even a critical hit. It just wilts.
No, Staraptor.
Surprised that that kills from such high HP there. I mean, he's got max HP to try to get the final gambit off, but apparently it didn't give it enough bulk to actually get any attack off.
Man,
Yeah,
this
I mean
is
that's the see Kingdra even because it's only scarfed. That Kingdra's gonna outspeed it, and it just went down, and Simon takes a huge deficit right from the start.
I think he knew that whatever Staraptor was going to do, he was going to be faster. So with the Muddy Water, he couldn't final Gambit,
Yep.
and a Brave Bird would likely finish him off. And using Muddy Water to break Multiscale on Dragonite allows Politoed to Ice Beam it for the KO.
Yeah, that was you've been playing that really well actually. That was a simple play, but very effective. So Cresselia comes out and really? Oh, Thunder's T. Cool. And let's see what Simon's last one is. Scizor. Oh, I don't like how it does not look good for him.
So yeah, no, when you see a Thunderous T on the other side, usually Scissor wouldn't be your first pick to combat it, but tough spot for Simon here, down 2-3.
Yeah, I mean, because this is what happens. I would if that Thunder is once again a case of fast and slow. That we saw last game, Politoed slower than that Scizor, and it got that Scald off, and in that rain, it's a 2-hit KO, and you always have that burn possibility. So, no matter what, the Scissor's gonna go down pretty quickly, and it looks bad for Simon. I can't really. He's gonna need a miracle to come out of this one, just off positioning on the field right now.
I really can't see where the synergy exists on Simon's team besides, I guess, Slow Scissor with Trick Room Cresselia. I'm not sure how everything else sort of meshes and benefits in any way.
Okay, Scissor going for a Protect. Ooh, Thunder on the Cresselia.
Also, yeah, someone in the Nugget Bridge chat says, "Where's Magneton?" I feel like Magneton could have helped a lot.
Well, the thing is, at the same time, against the
water would still be a problem.
Yeah, you'd have to get rid of the water, and the water is just still on the field right now. And Euban, another good predicting the Protect on Scizor, but Trick Room still goes up. But yeah, this looks rough.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the problem with Simon's team in general here. It's fairly obvious he wants to get the Trick Room up there to at least avoid getting obliterated by Thunderous for a little while longer, and
yeah, you have
him into an easy double target.
Ooh, Para over there, Scald, and yeah, they'll take care of the Cresselia. Yeah, I'd imagine if he had Rest, I would think he would have gone for Rest there.
Yeah, I imagine he was likely using it, although can't imagine it. The fully pair mattered too much.
Yeah, and that about wraps things up. Kind of unfortunate. His team matchup was just pretty awful, to be honest.
That almost seems like the theme of the night, besides your match, Aaron, where your opponent was obviously prepared for rain, but not prepared for you not caring that he had a lot of counters for rain.
Yeah, I mean, the last two really good players, obviously, but at the same time, gimmicky teams leads to sometimes getting blown through by some stuff like that, and kind of unfortunate. I kind of wanted to see Simon bring his regionals team just because that was a really nice team, and because he had a gimmick team here, he kind of just fell from the start and never really picked back up.
That's getting a little embarrassing here. I got blown out twice in a row, and Korea comes up 2-1 here.
Yeah, last time, USA won 5-2. Now Korea's already up 2-1. So
who's playing next?
I believe that next up is Phonic Frog, as he's calling himself now.
Oh boy.
He's a player who I'm fairly certain will not use a silly gimmick team. I wonder if the Americans aren't taking this seriously enough. But
his gimmick is just strength.
Kamal's gimmick is never losing.
Yeah, I was actually looking through SPL stuff from previous years. Kamal's just always he does well against all the best players. He's
one of the more solid players overall.
Yeah, he's got an unlucky losing in Top Cut at Nationals, I think, this year. Who did he lose to? I think he made top 16, but
yeah, he did make top 16. I'm trying to think of who he lost to.
I think it might be Luke, but I'm not sure.
No.
I think it was.
It was.
I should ask him.
Oh, Mangoso apparently.
Oh,
Was it
yeah,
really?
I think
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah. This is all coming back.
He
to me
got
now.
really upset about all that bright powder nonsense.
I would too. I mean, if you're that close to a Worlds invite and the trip to Hawaii and you lose to some bright powder shenanigans, that's no fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's a great player, though, and I'll obviously be rooting for him, both because he's my teammate and because I embarrassingly lost to him twice in a row at regionals, both in the last round of Swiss and then again top 4. So if he can't win, I sure can't.
Yeah, hopefully he can bring us back and tie the series up, because being down 3-1 is no fun. Especially when the series is the best of 7, so first team to 4 games wins.
Yeah, I don't know. I have faith that nothing else. It'll be a really interesting game. Kamal's, he's been very successful over the long term, more so than almost anyone else. Last like 4 or 5 years, I guess it's been.
Yeah, he doesn't get much. People talk about him. He doesn't. He got a huge regionals win, but before that, he kind of just. He was always there. He was always good, but for a while, people just kind of forgot. You'd mention him, and be like, "Oh, he's a really good player," but otherwise, he doesn't get mentioned that much. But, he's qualified for Worlds in both 09 and 11, and right now, just came off a regionals win, and so clearly a consistent player. And I mean, he's going to be one of the biggest threats to take down at nationals this year.
Kamal is definitely the definition of like the strong, silent type.
Yep.
Whenever I would have to face him for any oddball tournament, I would always be so anxious about it because he's just one of those people that doesn't really, I don't know, like flaunt his talent or really talk about like, oh, this is what I'm doing now. He just sort of lurks and comes out of the shadows to beat you down, and then maybe he'll smile. Maybe you'll see a smile.
So,
I love him though. He's a great guy.
I love Kamal.
Yeah, I was gonna say I kind of liked getting to drive to regionals for about half the half of the journey with him, just because I get to talk Pokemon with him at least a little bit. Because I mean, he does seem to keep to himself a lot more, but he's a really smart guy. He's got a lot of smart opinions about the game. So
yeah, and he's also really funny when he is expressive. Especially when Trista's around. Then the two just get into a whole mess.
They're a cute couple.
Yep.
Adorable.
But I'm excited to see Kamal play, especially because I have a big SPL match against him tomorrow, so gotta prepare.
Aaron,
get that team
scouting.
Nah, but
Scouting Premier League continues.
No surprise there. That's what the whole league is about, man.
Try to think. Who is his opponent here? Is it Wansek?
So this is exciting.
So also someone we've seen a little bit more from.
Yeah, so I'd say this is probably the best matchup so far. Just because the other 3 Korean players we haven't heard as much about. Obviously, Wonseok, their second best player, I'd say. Obviously Sejun first, but I'm excited. I played him in the last tournament. Great player, great guy. Just overall cool dude, and I hope we can see him back in Worlds. He kind of underperformed, which was surprising. I had high expectations on him, but as we all know, Worlds is tough to perform in. Unless you're Ray Rizzo, of course.
Then it's hard not to perform well in it.
Yep.